Separating the wheat from the chaff as we have entered into semifinal Wednesday here from Fort Dodge. It's the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. Right here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Quite a showdown coming your way here this afternoon as we've got North Scott and North Polk, two teams that with a win today could punch their ticket to a championship game here in the 4A tournament. Great to have you aboard with us this afternoon. I'm Ben Gislason, joined by former Iowa State softball standout Allie Kappert. And Allie, two teams that you and I were talking before we hit live on this broadcast that you think should make for quite a show today.
I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. North Polk, it starts in the circle with IGHSAU, the Drake commit. I mean, she has been lights out all season for the Comets. I expect nothing less today. And for North Scott, if they bring the bats they brought on Monday, I think it's going to be a great matchup against IGHSAU.
Bats indeed on Monday when North Scott took out the number 2 Norwalk club and danced their way into the semifinals, as we'll take a peek back at how these two teams got here. North Polk, meanwhile, dispatching of a Western Dubuque club on their way here to this semifinal. But a 7-1 win for North Scott over Norwalk. You talk about the bats. Also good work in the circle from Chevelle Kingsley. Does the score show how maybe much of a cruise control game it was? Is it just a North Scott team that came prepared and really took over and never let go?
I tell you what, Norwalk had bases loaded multiple times throughout that game. And North Scott, it was Chevelle Kingsley who was able to lock it in at the right time, get the strikeout when she needed it. And it was Kamila Eller at the plate with a double and 2 runs scored.
For North Polk, much more of a barn burner as it came down to the final swing of the bat and a lot of lead changes in that game, Allie. It was a 7-3 lead for Western Dubuque for North Polk going into the 7th inning. Western Dubuque would tie it, and then Lucy Lucas with that single and maybe a little bit of fortune making her way around there on a Tessa Dillinger drive.
Yeah, they definitely were going to give us a barn burner to start the week. They went into extra innings, but were able to pull it out. That was a great game. They're hoping for a little less drama today, I think, are the Comets.
For IGHSAU dealing with this terrifically offensive Lady Lancers team, what does she need to do to make sure that she's got her rhythm and try to limit and make sure there aren't 7 runs on the board here in this semi like there was in the quarters?
You know, she's a great pitcher. I expect that she's going to bounce back today, but for her, she needs to work around the plate, make sure she's not staying consistent too much in one spot, hit her corners, and use that spin. She does a great job moving the ball when she's throwing, so that's what she needs to do. Induce the movement, hit the corners, and I think she'll be just fine.
As a high seed or low seed in this tournament for North Scott, you've been around this tournament a long time. You know this game. Is there a common thread to, if you want to call them Cinderella stories, when they get into the semis, and how can they get into the finals? We just saw Pella do it the game before this, dispatching of ADM.
Yeah, this 4A class this entire week has been full of the Cinderella story. In the quarterfinals, only one higher seed made it out alive. It was the lower seeds winning in 3 of the 4 games. So I don't know who you even say is the Cinderella story anymore at this point, but the seedings really don't mean anything to these teams at this point. They're 100% even matchups.
And both of these teams were here last year, and in fact, just graduating 3 from last year, North Scott, and North Polk is returning a good crop from last year's team too. So both of these teams have been here before. They're rearing and ready. We're waiting to see if the slipper still fits for North Scott or if North Polk will take care of business and head to the final today. When we come back, we'll meet the starters for this 4A semifinal here in Fort Dodge. You're watching the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, an Iowa farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud title sponsor of the state softball tournament, the Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to creating a vibrant future for Iowa through partnerships and programs that help cultivate individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. Making it to the state tournament is a great accomplishment that takes a lot of support. That's why we provide millions of dollars in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence. The well-being of Iowa students is also very important to Farm Bureau. That's why we provide concussion insurance coverage at no cost for all students in grades 9 through 12 who participate in a sanctioned sport. As just one of only 7 states to provide this coverage, it's just another way we're striving to support Iowa's outstanding young leaders. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau, congratulations to all the players and coaches on an outstanding season, and good luck in the tournament.
And then you'll come to us.
And Katie Garrett. Here's your starting lineup now for the North Scott Lancers. Leading off, playing shortstop, number 17, Tinley Osterberg. Batting second in center field, number 1, Kamila Eller. Batting third, playing first base, number 11, Brinley Schroeder. Cleanup hitter for the Lancers and catcher, number 24, Lady Welch. Batting fifth at third base, number 20, Adeline Johnson. Batting sixth, doing the pitching, number 6, Chevelle Kingsley. Batting seventh in right field, number 3, Aubrey Tooley. Batting eighth, the designated player, number 10, Katie Brader. Batting in the ninth position at second base, number 2, Maya Polk. Your flex player in left field, number 22, Anna Campbell. Head coach for the Lancers is Holly Holtig. Now let's meet the team from North Polk. Here are the non-starters. Number 4, Leah Muth. Number 6, Janie Zosky. Number 8, Patty Fetters. Number 13, Eva Thielen. Number 15, Callie Edwards. Number 17, Lily Sanger. Number 20, Valerie Bird. Number 21, Amelia Kelsick. Number 23, Reese Smithy. And number 44, Elin Spurgeon. Your assistant coaches, Brady Bauman, Tracy Cleaver, and Cindy Carroll. Now here's your starting lineup for the Comets of North Polk. Leading off, playing right field, number 1, Maddie Cleaver. Batting second in center field, number 2, Ava Kadoka. Batting third, the pitcher, number 12, Ava Husak. Cleanup hitter for the Comets and doing the catching, number 16, Lucy Lucas. Batting fifth at second base, number 10, Caitlin Cleaver. Batting sixth at first base, number 14, Tessa Dillinger. Batting seventh, the designated player, number 25, Larissa Cope. Batting eighth at shortstop, number 19, Alex Mulkey. Batting in the ninth position, the left fielder, number 7, Audrey Lucas. And your flex player at third base, number 3, Harper Lincoln. Head coach for the Comets, Eddie Pender. Now please turn your attention to the home plate area. The umpires for this contest as assigned by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. At first base, Aaron Schmidt. At third base, Jason Lewis. And calling the balls and strikes today, Tim Rogers. All right, who's ready for state tournament softball?
Opening pitch is upon us here for the 4A semifinal. The North Polk Comets and the North Scott Lady Lancers looking to see who will join Pella in that final coming up here later on this week in Fort Dodge. Great to have you with us on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Ben Gislason, Allie Kappert, and the charm, the pageantry, all that comes with this week. It doesn't get much sweeter for the Iowa girl than this, does it?
This is a phenomenal week. Every single year, Fort Dodge does an amazing job hosting just a perfect tournament. The talent is here. The fans are here. Could say the weather's here. A little warm this year, but this should be a great game. I mean, every game has been really, really good, but this game I'm really excited for. I think we're going to see a really even matchup here.
Well, let's key in on the senior pitcher, Ava Husak. Has done so well for this Comets team, both in the circle and at the plate, selected to be on the senior all-star game. She'll be headed to Drake University, as you mentioned, partner, to play some softball once her career here with the Comets is over. A leader as well, and not to mention threw a perfect game in the first regional game played back on July 12th. So a pretty star-spangled career so far for her, and someone that I'm sure the Bulldogs are very excited about.
And I think the thing that stands out most with her, over 900 career strikeouts in her high school career for North Polk. It's not a number you see very much in Iowa high school softball, and she's done it this year. Coming into the tournament at 216 Ks.
How much preparation for specific pitchers do opponents do at the high school level? Is there a little bit, even if it's game day?
It's hard because in high school softball, you're playing day in and day out, so you don't have much time to prep for the next pitcher. So, I mean, it is nice that these players all had the day off yesterday to prepare for this matchup. So, North Scott here, they know she's going to throw with a lot of movement. It's going to be up to them to make sure they're swinging at the balls over the plate and not chasing.
Well, let's see who's got a date with the Dutch in the championship game. The Comets and the Lady Lancers are underway with the freshman Tinley Osterberg at the plate for the Lancers in gray, with the Comets wearing white and red.
You see Husak starting the game with the drop ball down in the dirt, lost her grip just a little bit on that pitch.
This one's flared. Is it going to be fair? Yes. Is it going to be caught? Also by the sophomore Audrey Lucas. Good range out there in left, and Osterberg is retired. That'll bring up Kamila Eller, who has been the star offensively for this team here in Fort Dodge. Through a game, had a couple of knocks in the big win over Norwalk in the quarters.
Also, a big shout out to Eller this year, being on the cover of the Iowa High School State Tournament program. So everyone up here in Fort Dodge has gotten a good look at Kamila Eller.
Wonder when she got word of that, or did she learn when everybody else
probably learned when everyone else learned.
Hey, that's me.
I mean, that's pretty cool. If you show
goodness.
up to the state tournament and see that you're on the cover of the state tournament program that everyone's buying, that's a neat thing.
You'd have to imagine her family and friends probably gobble up as many of those as they could to bring them back to North Scott and hand them out to everybody, make sure everybody's got one going home with a souvenir.
There, the rise ball by Husak. That's a pitch we're going to see. Batter in, batter out. That's a go-to pitch for her.
That's so much pace to it. You could just see Eller had a hard time getting the bat around with that rise ball. Count 1-2 here to the dangerous Eller, sophomore center fielder.
And for North Scott, luckily they are in a situation on Monday. They faced a really good pitcher in Carly Brewer from Norwalk, whose go-to pitch is also the rise ball. So that is something you might think they have a slight advantage there, being that the pitches they're seeing today is very similar to the pitch arsenal they saw on Monday. But, 2 days in between, slightly different release point, slightly different speed. Not quite sure.
You know a thing or two about hitting the rise ball. What's the key to doing that?
Keep your hands above the ball.
Don't let it rise on you, huh?
Yes. Where you see the ball, you're swinging about 2 to 3 inches higher. Hands have to stay above the ball.
2-2 count here to Eller. Gets a piece of this one high into the air. Will it stay in play? It does, but it's just a little bit behind the shortstop, Alex Mulkey, who was trying to track that down. Might have lost that in the sun a little bit.
Fielders today are going to be battling not only the sun, it's also quite breezy. And on this field right now, it appears to be blowing out, but gives it a little bit of a crosswind. So balls out to left field could easily be impacted by the breeze.
Still 2-2 to Eller. How did she lay off that one? Just a bit low. That's a great piece of batting there from the sophomore. And the count moves to 3-2. Here's the offering from Husak. Swung on and fouled.
Husak went right back to that pitch, trying to get Eller to chase right below her knees. And Eller's done a nice job in this at-bat swinging at the strikes. As I mentioned, big key for them right now, lay off the stuff out of the zone. It's hard to do.
Eller making Husak work here. Second batter of the day. And that's a hard-earned walk from Eller, who's got some base path speed as well.
Base on ball, scramble.
That's something we saw on Monday from this North Scott Lancer team. They're not scared to steal a base. When they get runners on, they want those runners moving.
To the plate comes the freshman Brinley Schroeder, batting .442 this season, a runner on first base, and the Lancers trying to get this inning started right. A beautiful piece of hitting as an opposite field hit comes from Schroeder, and the Lancers are developing an early threat here in the top of one.
Really great piece of hitting by Schroeder, going down and getting that ball, able to just poke it where it's pitched. She's not trying to hit that pitch with a ton of power, but doing exactly what she needs to get herself on base and move the runner to second.
After an extremely lengthy at-bat, first pitch, first swing, and Schroeder makes her way to first, and that'll bring up Lainey Welch, 33 RBI this season. She can bring them around and has a runner in scoring position in the speedy Eller at second. This one's fouled high into the air. You can see the catcher, Lucy Lucas, there squint her eyes a little bit as she looked up directly into the sun trying to track down if that was going to stay in play or not. Three of four to start the order, freshman for Holly Holting and these Lancers. So you know that with a setup like that, regardless of how this year's edition of the Lady Lancers in Fort Dodge ends, their coach has to be excited about what this club has for years to come.
And North Scott's a program that really does a nice job building their program year in and year out. They've become a staple here at the state tournament over the last few years, and they're a fun team to watch. They collectively play very well as a team, which is really neat to see.
Fell to the eventual 4A champs in Carlisle last year here in Fort Dodge. 0-2, their last state title. 2-1 pitch to Welch, and that one came in with some steam on it, and Welch went fishing.
I love Husak willing to throw a pitch out of the zone with the rise ball in a 2-1 count. She was 100% going for the chase on that pitch.
It takes some gusto and some guts to have a career like she's had. As she gets back to even in the count here, just one out for the Lancers and 2 on. Another one high in the zone. She's been favoring that pitch quite a bit, and she's gotten some batters to go for it. That one's fouled off by Welch.
You'll see Welch there in between pitches working her bat at the top of her zone. So much easier said than done to lay off that rise ball.
Still 2-2 to Welch. Strike 3 called on the corner after a bevy of pitches high in the zone. Takes out her paintbrush and sends one over the outside corner for her first strikeout.
And I love the pitch call there. You go back-to-back rise balls. You have Welch thinking it's going to be a rise ball, and then you come back and paint that outside corner of the plate. Just a perfect pitch sequence there by the comments and Ava Husak.
Adeline Johnson steps in now with 2 outs. The Lady Lancers do still have some options out there and 2 runners on.
It was Adeline Johnson on Monday in this same situation, hit one off the center field wall.
.422 average this season and 4 dingers as this one gets past the catcher Lucas. That'll bring the runners along for now a situation with a runner on third and second here with 2 outs for Johnson and the Lady Lancers. He's starting to rise a bit on Husak. 2-0 count. Breaking ball hit to third, the throw on the money. And just a little bit of trouble for Husak, but nothing that the talented senior couldn't handle as the Comets are able to escape 2 runners on. With the Lady Lancers stranding 2, will head to break, and then the Comets will take the plate for the first time. Just getting started here from Fort Dodge, the 4A semifinals rolling along.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Temperatures continuing to rise here. Supposed to get across the 90-degree mark for another straight day here in Fort Dodge, and right now nothing on the board yet here early in this one, the 4A semifinals of Iowa girls softball tournament here in Fort Dodge. Ben Gisleson and Allie Capert, as well as Sam Nord producing. Great to have you with us here this afternoon as the Comets, after starting the day in the field, will head to the plate now for their first trip of the day. Again, both of these teams trying to get to the state finals where they'll take on the Dutch of Pella, who have become the darlings of the tournament. Could be interesting if you get the 7 and 8 seed in the final. Huh?
I would love it. I mean, just the softball fan in me thinks that would be so cool. But also, you look at how evenly matched these two teams are. I think we're going to have a barn burner in this one.
Well, looking at it, when you just take a peek at the seedings, you might look at it and say, all right, well, North Polk is a 3 seed. Well, maybe they feel pretty good about the way the bracket looks with some of those big powers falling off in the quarterfinals. But to your point, this North Scott team might as well be a 2 or a 1 seed with the way they've played all season. So it doesn't get any easier just because the number next to their name is higher than who they thought they might be playing in the semis. Maddie Cleaver will lead off, tries to lay down a bunt for the Comets. Nice year for the sophomore. 38 RBI on the season and a .414 average. One thing to note for this Comets team, only one player that we'll see batting today that has not hit a home run this season. So they've got players with at least one or more all over their lineup. So there's popping these bats, and a pop off the bat of Cleaver goes to second, picked up by Maya Vogt, and Cleaver is retired. And the leadoff hitter will head to the dugout for North Polk.
And Cleaver will be something we'll need to keep our eye on today. The left-handed hitter showing some small ball with the first pitch, coming out swinging at the second pitch. So she's a triple threat at the top of the order for North Polk.
Ava Kudelka will step in, the junior center fielder. As this one's popped up, and that one comes clanging off the grandstand behind us here. We have the best seats in the house, nice and cool down here, thank heavens.
And Chevelle Kingsley for North Scott, she pitched a complete game on Monday, did a really nice job. One thing she's going to need to look out for today, especially with the heat, making sure she's not getting too deep in counts early in the game. Attack these batters, let your defense work.
That one's ripped down the line, and it's fair. Kudelka's going to race around first, and she will waltz into second with a stand-up double as the junior is in scoring position here in the first for the Comets.
And that one just painted the line on the third base side.
A Channel Seeds extra base hit there for Kudelka. Extra base hits in today's game brought to you by Channel Seeds. The enhanced Channel Seed brand is here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Head to channel.com/rise. And so a little discrepancy here from Addie Pender, who comes out, and now the umps are going to have a quick word here. That's Tim Rogers, the home plate umpire, looking to chat with Jason Lewis. Painted it was the exact right word to use, Allie, because it was right on the line. Looks like the umpires all seem to agree the call will stand.
And I do think it was the right call, but we probably had the best view out of anyone here, and it went right over the bag.
Oh, and it was curling. It went right over the bag, but when it bounded past the bag, it bounded foul. But that's not how the rule, it has to go. Where does it cross the bag? And it was, I agree, fair. Nicely done at third there by Jason Lewis. So with that, one out. Runner in Kudelka on second. And Ava Husak, who can score as well as she can pitch, at the plate for North Polk. And this is a rope to center field. That's going to put runners on the corners here, and Husak wasted no time in hopping aboard on first base.
About 90% of the time, a runner on second base with the ball hit that hard into the outfield is going to be scoring, but she hit it right at Kamila Eller in center field. So I think a smart job by Coach Bender at third base to keep her at third. You only have one out. Let your next batter score, and it's Lucy Lucas, who can also hit with some power.
Ava Fjellen coming in to pinch run for USAC at first. That's an IMT substitution. So runners on the corners. And now Chevelle Kingsley, who again, as you pointed out, pitched a complete game and only gave up one run in that upset over Norwalk in the quarterfinals, facing some choppy waters here in the bottom of one in the semis. That one comes in outside on the batter, Lucy Lucas. We'll see if Fjelland decides to take off. What would you do here?
You know, I'd have the runner at first steal, and I think I'd have Lucas swinging away.
There goes the runner, and they ended up cutting the throw. It is a strike on the outside corner. Lady Lancers were prepared for that in case.
And I don't think Lucas's actual intention was there to bunt. It was just throwing a distraction with the steal, see if you can mess with your defense a little bit.
Bit of a smoke screen. Kingsley looking at that outside corner a lot. She's thrown there a few times already in this young softball game. 2-1 the count right now to the catcher, Lucas. Playing her college ball at DMAC. Swung on and hit to short. They're going to throw home, and it's just a bit late. As sliding in was Ava Kudelka. And that's an RBI for Lucy Lucas, and a 1-0 lead for the Comets.
And heads up base running there by Lucy Lucas, going ahead and taking second base. She knows the play is at home plate, so she takes off for second to get that second runner in scoring position.
Another substitution as Lucas comes in, roaring her way into the dugout after that RBI. Fans giving her a salute. IMT substitution out at second base. So still just one out, and the threat far from averted for Chevelle Kingsley and the Lady Lancers. Caitlin Cleaver will dig in here, looking to continue this hot start for the Comets. She lays down a bunt. It's a good one. The play at home, not in time. Sliding in.
And we have a run down now.
And now a pickle between first and second. And everything coming up Comets here in the first inning as Cleaver's able to sneak back to first base safely. And tough there because the minute that throw comes from second, you wonder if that runner at third's going to make her way home. There's a lot to sort out in that situation once that pickle started.
Perfectly executed by North Polk. First thing is get the bunt down. When the bunt's on the ground, things can happen. That runner at third base is taken off all the way for the squeeze play, able to slide in safely. And once again, North Polk with that back runner looking to advance to second. North Scott, though, this time cutting her down, keeping her at first.
Well, nothing like seeing the squeeze. Always a exhilarating play, and you called it, North Polk executing it wonderfully. And now with this 2-run hole dug for the Lady Lancers, Holly Holting coming out to have a word with the entire club out there. Pardon me, I missed, looks like out in center field. Kamila Eller's still out there. Now the outfielder's having a quick word out there. The infield coming in. So still just one out for Kingsley and the Lady Lancers. Runners on the corners. And Tessa Dillinger, who was a part of that heroic win in the quarterfinals, at the plate now. She'll lay down a bunt. They keep the runner at third and throw out Dillinger at first. Textbook work there from North Scott.
North Scott much more prepared for that bunt, and it was a perfectly placed bunt by Dillinger. but Johnson at third, able to field it, hold the runner at third. Really very limited damage done on that sacrifice bunt.
Lady Lancers now have 2 outs to work with here. Runners on second and third. And with Dillinger down, Larissa Koth will come in, the designated player, batting .308 this year, 25 RBI. A lot of RBIs around this Comets roster. A lot of players that can bring in some runs no matter where they're batting in the order. Koth hits one hard to short, scooped up well, and thrown down to first by Osterberg. That's a nifty play from the freshman to end the inning, but the Comets strike first blood here in Fort Dodge. They have a 2-0 lead as we'll head to the second on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Different people have different needs, so Delta Dental of Iowa has affordable dental and vision coverage that meets you where you are. Small business on a budget? We have options with no employer costs. Traditional Medicare plans don't cover dental, but we do. And if you can't get benefits at work, you can buy direct from us. Plus, we give back to local communities, so you help make an impact. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, for your community.
North Polk out to a 2-0 lead over North Scott, the champions of Region 6. North Polk coming out of Region 7, and both teams trying to claw their way into a state final. Ben Gislason and Allie Kappert welcoming you back here to our coverage as we head to the second inning of play here in the 4A semifinals. Things will open with Chevelle Kingsley, her first at-bat of the afternoon. Lancers had a few base runners stranded in that first inning. They'll try to get some ducks on the pond here in the second.
And if you're North Scott right now, obviously not ideal to give up any runs in the top of the first inning, but there was only 1 out with runners on first and third, and they were able to get outs 2 and 3 without any more damage than those 2 runs. So North Scott still has themselves in a position where they're able to stay within striking distance.
One count here to Kingsley, batting .316 with 5 home runs this season for the Lady Lancers. Husak checks her wrist. And the 1-1 delivery, just missing low. Another one down in the dirt. Kingsley forcing Husak here to find the zone.
They're really good at bat so far by Kingsley. That's the key to the game for North Scott, as I mentioned in the first inning. Just attack the strikes, don't chase. And there she takes one off the leg. Not an ideal way to get your 4th ball.
Rather just take that one inside and take a trot down the line, but it'll count the same. It'll be a base runner with Kingsley. Down to first.
She'll get a runner. She'll be okay.
I was about to say, as the pitcher, I would imagine we'll have a substitution coming in for her. Doesn't seem too worse for the wearer. Might have caught that more in the thigh, rather the thigh than the knee. And that'll be a substitution courtesy of IMT over at first base. Aliana Nelson will be the pinch courtesy runner. After Kingsley takes one off the thigh, Aubrey Toohey will step in, the right fielder, batting .319. And the Lancers got the look they want, and there's a nice bunt. Striding over for it and handling it well is Husak as the runner Nelson advances to second.
And the small ball being executed by both teams early in this game. That is going to be a key to success here for both teams. I mean, both these teams, if you're able to get those bunts down, move your runners around, you're going to be able to keep this game close.
Something over the last 3 years, really, as I've learned this game, trying to pick it up as much as I can. You've forgotten more than I'll ever know. But the small ball side of it in softball, it seems like all the best teams, they have that as a piece of their arsenal, don't they?
Yes, and that's a great point. That's a lot of casual fans will watch baseball and softball, and that's a big thing. You notice a difference between the two sports. Softball leans a lot heavier on the short game. And reason being the base pass, I mean, they're only 60 feet, so you never know when you're laying down a sacrifice bunt what could turn into a single, what could turn into something bigger. And it's something that, I mean, so far in this tournament, I've watched 4 games. I've seen 3 perfectly executed squeeze plays. I mean, that's awesome for these kids. And, I mean, all 3, like I said, in an attempt at another one here, they didn't get the run in, but 4 squeeze plays.
Well, another thing I've learned is a ball with those shortened base paths, anytime the ball is on the ground on the infield, anything can happen.
Yes.
And there's so much speed on so many of these teams. There's something to be said about a player that knows how to just put the ball on the ground and grind it out.
And I think something to point out now, too, the state of Iowa is getting some really nice facilities for the sport of softball. A lot of them being put in are turf. And so a lot of these players, they're going back and forth, night in, night out, playing on dirt, then playing on turf.
Katie Bradar with a high-flying ball to center that is taken care of by the junior Kudelka. And now 2 outs, and the Lady Lancers still just with Nelson out at second. I saw one of those turf fields a couple of weeks ago. I had the pleasure of working with Laura Leonard down at Southeast Polk, taking on ADM.
Gorgeous facility.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, it's so nice. We didn't have anything like that when I played.
Getting the old walk-up hill both ways to school and the sideways rain starting to sound like that.
And then, like, the crazy thing, it wasn't even that long ago. Realistically, it was, I mean, the high school ball for me only about 15 years ago. So the advancements in the game and the facilities across that time, you're seeing a lot of the college facilities switch to turf.
There's 1-1 here to Maya Vogt. And on that point, Allie, I wanted to ask you, you've seen this game evolve in so many ways, I'm sure, but what are some of the really big ways in those 15 years that you've seen softball, and maybe even if you can pinpoint it, softball at the Iowa high school level evolve, aside from turf fields?
Yeah, you know, I think a big thing falls on the equipment. The bats that these kids are using now, I mean, they have some insane pop off the bat, which is fun to watch. As someone who was known for my hitting, I love watching these kids hit. So I think that's a big thing now, but also in the circle with the players, just how players have gotten better. You're seeing a lot more movement out of pitchers now than you ever saw 15, 20 years ago. These pitchers are perfecting rise balls, drop balls at a much younger age. You'll see a great rise ball there by Husak.
Right on cue. The rise ball from Husak has been rising all afternoon as the senior smooths out a brief ripple there in the second. We'll head to the bottom of 2. The Comets will try to extend their lead up 2-0 on the Lady Lancers here in Fort Dodge.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Yeah. Thank God I didn't have to face her. Welcome back here to Fort Dodge as we get set for bottom of this second inning. The Comets, after a 2-run first, will head back to the plate here. Alex Mulkey will lead off, the shortstop, batting .316 this season. And Chevelle Kingsley will look to smooth things out a bit here after Not a rocky first inning, but certainly one that she wouldn't have liked to be the table setter for her semifinal.
Yeah, North Polk did a really nice job in that first inning, just moving base to base, they had the double down the left field line, but other than that, playing the short game and getting their runners moving. So for North Scott right now, key is to just settle this game in. If you can go a couple innings not allowing any runs, allow yourself a chance offensively to start chipping back. They're right in this thing.
This one hit into the air to left. Again, good speed out there in left field. Anna Campbell trotting in to grab that.
Catch by Anna Campbell in left field, crowd number 1. Moving to the plate for the Comets, left fielder number 7, Audrey Lucas.
So Audrey Lucas will step to the plate now with one out here in the bottom of 2. Lucas at .372 this season, and told by Coach Addie Pender is always singing, whether it's in the dugout, whether it's during practice. And a little slap to third. That one might have been caught, but
yes,
just for good measure, fire it down to first.
I like how she played that out. You never know what call you're going to get. Our home plate umpire did a nice job coming out right away with the catch call. But as a fielder, you just never know. You always have to finish that play.
Adeline Johnson finishing that play. And now we'll get to the top of the order for the first time for North Polk. Maddie Cleaver, who grounded to second base in the first inning, looking to find some green here in the second. Here's the 1-0. Swung on for a strike. Seems like Kingsley is favoring the outside of the plate a little bit here, something that if you're in the batter's box seeing a pitcher go after the outside of the plate, what are you thinking?
You're just thinking wait on the ball. Make sure you let that ball get deep enough. Go opposite field with it. Don't change your mechanics at all. Just wait a little bit longer.
Another one looking outside and gets Cleaver to take a hack at it for a 1-2 count. Cleaver, the first team all-conference selection in the Raccoon River Conference, of which her club was champions of, but she sat down on strikes there. Another pitch on the outside, and swinging forward is Cleaver, so she'll grab her glove. The Lancers will grab their bats, and we'll grab a break heading into the third inning here in Fort Dodge. Still 2-0 North Polk over North Scott.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, an Iowa farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud title sponsor of the state softball tournament, the Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to creating a vibrant future for Iowa through partnerships and programs that help cultivate individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. Making it to the state tournament is a great accomplishment that takes a lot of support. That's why we provide millions of dollars in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence. The well-being of Iowa students is also very important to Farm Bureau. That's why we provide concussion insurance coverage at no cost for all students in grades 9 through 12 who participate in a sanctioned sport. As just one of only 7 states to provide this coverage, it's just another way we're striving to support Iowa's outstanding young leaders. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau, congratulations to all the players and coaches on an outstanding season, and good luck in the tournament.
To the top of 3 and to the top of the order for North Scott we go for a semifinals. Cruising along here in Fort Dodge, a 2-0 lead for North Polk, and Tinsley Osterberg will lead off for the Lady Lancers here, facing IGHSAU, who's been mostly comfortable in the circle. And a very uncomfortable day of heat here in Fort Dodge, although this is pretty much what you grow accustomed to this time of year in Fort Dodge. Players that have been here before, they're used to it. Although, if memory serves me correct, last year it was unseasonably gorgeous at the tournament, if I remember correctly.
I remember the state championships last year, calling the 4A, 5A games. I put on a sweatshirt by the end of the night. Like, just unheard of.
It's
for
unprecedented almost. Not sure if we'll get that this year. sweltering heat set for the week. USAC getting Osterberg to swing at that for a 1-2 count here in the third. Osterberg with 9 stolen bases on the year. Coach Holting would love to get her aboard as she takes one high in the zone.
You'll see Husak continuing to work up in the zone with that rise ball against the slap hitting Osterberg, forcing her, trying to get that pop-up. She was able to get it in Osterberg's first at-bat, that fly out to left field. It's exactly what she's going for again. Once again, back to that rise ball. It's smart pitching. It makes sense as a slapper. You're moving towards the pitcher. That ball's moving towards you. It's a tough angle to get your bat to.
Full count here to the freshman. Just a piece of that. And she stays alive, does Osterberg. Audrey Lucas playing in shallow and left where she caught Osterberg's first piece of hitting on the day. Second pitch of a 3-2 count again, trying to just slap it out there. And once more fouling it off.
And it was this part of the lineup that got pretty dangerous for North Scott in that first inning. Coming up, you have Eller on deck. She walked, and then Schroeder single. Those runners were big threats in the first inning.
Third straight pitch of a full count. Again, popped up into the air. That one's off the mesh of the backstop, so make it 4. Full count throws here for Husak. Osterberg, like most good leadoff hitters try to do, whether they're on base or not, try to make the pitcher work.
Anytime you can get up there, see some pitches, allow your on-deck hitter to essentially have their own at-bat in the on-deck circle. You're doing your job right. It's a quality at-bat anytime you're seeing really 6 or more pitches.
This one's stoked into shallow center, easily grabbed by Ava Kadelka. And a grueling at-bat comes to a close. Osterberg will head back to the dugout. 1 out here for North Polk.
And that's a big first out. Keeping the lead off hitter off the bases, keeping the speed off the bases. As I mentioned earlier in this game, North Scott always a threat to steal bases. So only way to prevent that is not let them on the base.
Kamila Eller at the plate had a similarly taxing at-bat for Husak in the first inning. Took the count full, fouled a few off, and then wound up walking as the first base runner of the game. Here in the third, her second at-bat now against Husak. This one's hit on the ground, and it just gets past the glove of Alex Mulkey. It's Kamila Eller, who's had a hot bat all tournament. That continues here with her first hit of the afternoon.
And Kamila Eller, just a really nice job there getting on top of the ball. Hard ground balls are going to do the job. And from here, for North Scott, will be interesting to see what approach they take. With 1 out here in the third, they need to start chipping away at that lead of North Polk.
Brinley Schroeder, who hit a rope in her first at-bat.
And there's a stolen base right there.
Eller to second. Testing the arm of Lucas, not in time.
And that's what North Scott has done this entire tournament. You get a runner on, steal second.
So with the speed of Eller at second, Schroeder now has a chance to drive her in if she can put one out there deep into the outfield somewhere. 0-1 count, fouled off by Schroeder, and now she's down 0-2. Husak checks her signs. And Schroeder stays alive. Schroeder had that single in the first. Was a part of what looked to be a scoring threat for the Lady Lancers that came to a halt with runners on second and third. Schroeder here having a word with Holly Holting down the third base line.
And that hit in the first by Schroeder was her first hit of this state tournament. Was able to score a run, got on twice on Monday, reached on air and a walk.
Down in the count here to IGHSAU. One out and a runner on second, as you can see there on your screen, and Eller. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled again. And Schroeder just trying to stay alive until maybe IGHSAU makes a mistake here and she can get something to get a piece of.
And against IGHSAU, an 0-2 count is a dangerous count to be in, because if I'm IGHSAU right now, I'm going out of the zone. I'm going a rise ball way out of the zone or way off the plate outside, trying to get a chase. And there's the rise ball.
Well done, partner. Well, and why give her something she can do anything with when you've got
exactly
4 pitches to work with?
She's got another one here.
Yep.
She can do the exact same thing with whatever she chooses to do. And with that movement as a hitter, it's very hard to lay off of.
And that one is fouled off as well. Well, if there's one theme that we're starting to see from the Lancers, it is making IGHSAU throw and throw and throw. This inning, haven't seen too many batters yet, but we've seen a lot of pitches from the senior. One-two count still here to Schroeder. Schroeder takes one inside.
That's a good take by Schroeder. IGHSAU's working up and out mainly, coming back inside. Force the hitter to get out ahead of the pitch.
So Schroeder back at level pegging here in the count against IGHSAU. A runner on second. This one's grounded to second, handled by Caitlin Cleaver and thrown out at first. Eller advances to third base, but North Polk's able to get one out closer to ending this inning.
That's a job well done all around. First off by Schroeder, you have a runner at second base. You want to hit that ball to the right side. Allow your runner to get to third base, whether you're getting out or not. Advance the runner.
Well, when you look at it, considering she was down 0-2 in that count as well, you brought it up. A really bad situation to be in against a pitcher like IGHSAU, and to come out of that with at least some positive in the advancement, you called it a job well done.
And Welch now looking for a little bit of redemption. The strikeout in the first inning, so she's looking for an opportunity here. Runner at third base.
Welch is the RBI leader for this Lady Lancer team. There's that rise ball again, just a little bit high. 33 of those runs batted in for Welch this season. Good pitch there from IGHSAU down at the knees.
IGHSAU just painting the inside corner. Love the pitch call. She's tends to work up and out, but the pitches she's decided to go inside with have really, really thrown off these North Scott hitters.
1-2 count to Welch. This one's fouled off. Harkening back to the strikeout pitch in that first inning against Welch, it was on the outside corner, low and at the knees. Similar spots when she's getting these batters in situations that she wants them in. She's seemingly picking some inventive spots to find some strikes.
Mm-hmm. Really working the pitch sequence, mixing the rise ball in that outside corner.
Welch gets a piece of this one, shallow right field. It's in there, not in time from right field. Maddie Cleaver unable to get there. A perfectly placed bloop out to right, and that's an RBI single for Lainey Welch, and the Lady Lancers are on the board.
And Lainey Welch able to get her redemption here in the third to put the Lancers on the board.
Similar pitch to the one she struck out on in the first. She said, fool me once, fine, but not twice.
Really good job by her knowing what's coming and able to produce the RBI for her team.
Welch will get a courtesy runner. And Riley Toohey, she'll go to first. That substitution brought to you by IMT Insurance. And Adeline Johnson will square up to the plate here against IGHSAU, who just gave up her first run of the game. It's 2-1. And a good comeback pitch there for IGHSAU. Jumps ahead in the count on the swing and a miss by the junior Johnson. Johnson takes another one, so IGHSAU jumps out ahead again. Johnson grounding to third, which ended the first inning for the Lancers in her opening at bat.
And that one just gets away from her. To be expected, they're ahead in the count. She's going to work up in the zone.
Johnson's got a little rhythm as she steps into the box. Everyone's got their own little thing, right? This one's hit hard and high to right field. Up a little bobble, didn't get caught. It's out of the glove of Cleaver, and in will come the runner in Tui. And so Lady Luck favoring the Lady Lancers in right field, and the game is tied.
We talk so much this game about the wind, the sun. These outfielders have a tough job today, and you saw it there, that ball. What looked like could have been a routine fly ball turned into a difficult task in a 3-run error.
Well, the body language of Cleaver is what really showcased it. She was under it, and then all of a sudden she wasn't, and it's because that wind had the tailwind in that ball had it moving left to right. All of a sudden she had her glove right above her head ready for it, and then she had to flash it out, and wasn't quite as orthodox of a catch as it maybe looked like it was going to be, and you called it the wind playing a big factor in that high fly ball to right. So now the Lancers are one swing away from taking their first lead of the game. Chevelle Kingsley, who was hit by a pitch in her first at bat, she's got Johnson down the third base line, one base away.
Nice pitch by IGHSAU, just attacking the zone.
Takes a strike down there on the outside of the plate for a 1-1 count.
And IGHSAU's now throwing a lot of pitches in this inning. It's typically not something that affects softball pitchers too much, but with this heat today, as soon as you can get back into the dugout, the better.
Trying to turn on that one was Kingsley, fouled off the chain link fence to the dugout in her left. Gets a chuckle from her head coach, Holly Holting. Was here a couple of times as a player at Pleasant Valley, was Holly Holting. 1-2 pitch hit hard to left field and foul.
Whew. It had the distance, I'll tell you that.
Knew it right off the bat.
And Kingsley there looking to help her own cause. And for IGHSAU, it's just a long foul ball. No harm, no foul.
I could see the shoulders just go up and down in the circle after a swing like that when you see it go foul. The 1-2 count continues. And Kingsley, again, who's been ahead of everything at this at-bat, including that long foul ball.
And a good pitch selection there by North Polk going with the off-speed. You see a long foul ball like that, you have to mix up speeds on your hitter. And IGHSAU able to do it.
That one was not that far foul either. Still 1-2. And on the outside corner, IGHSAU sits down her pitching counterpart in Chevelle Kingsley, but North Polk gives up 2, and the Lady Lancers slice into that lead. We're tied at 2, heading to the bottom of 3 here in Fort Dodge. North Polk and North Scott dueling it out for a date in the 4A state final.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Good one brewing here in Fort Dodge, a 2-2 game. It was North Polk who jumped out to the early lead, but the North Scott Lady Lancers have climbed back into the saddle, a 2-2 game. Ben Gislason and Allie Kappert here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy, getting set for the bottom of the third inning here, with the Comets looking to try and reclaim that lead.
I tell you what, these two teams so far this game have been so evenly matched. You have to think we're going to be back and forth this entire game.
Ava Kudelka, who smashed one down the line for a double in her first at-bat, steps into the batter's box here in the third to face Chevelle Kingsley. Takes a first pitch ball. Kudelka has played out in center since her 8th grade year for this Comets team. Hits one high towards the gap. Oh, and look at the range of Eller.
Wow.
That was track star type speed as she bolted over and made the grab and has a smile and a laugh with her left fielder.
That ball looked like it was going off the fence in left center field. I thought that was going to be at least a double for Kudelka. And Kamila Eller in center field is so fast.
Ava Husak into the batter's box here to face Kingsley. That one well high of the plate. Of the two pitchers, Kingsley's had a little less of the work so far today. Again, early in this game, but that last inning specifically for Husak, a lot of pitches.
And that's something we saw out of Kingsley on Monday. As I said, was going very deep into counts, but was able to just step it up at the right times when runners got on base for Norwalk. She dialed it in and sat them down.
2-1 count here to Husak. This one hit to left field, ranging for it. Campbell just couldn't get there. It snow coned out of her glove. A quick throw in though from short and almost caught Husak at second, but she raced in and slid in.
What an effort out in left field by Campbell. It really looked like she was going to have it, just unable to pull it up at the end. So for Ava Husak, looking to get the lead back for her team, being courtesy ran at second base for.
It's an IMT insurance substitution. So now the Comets threatening here with one out in the bottom of 3. Lucy Lucas will step in.
And Lucas already with 1 RBI this game. Up again, runner in scoring position.
Had the fielder's choice in the first inning that did drive in a run. Play at the plate was not in time. And a strike on the outside corner for Kingsley. Ground ball to first base, snapped up by Brinley Schroeder, and that will retire Lucas and put the Lady Lancers 1 out away from quelling this threat of North Polk.
And Caitlin Cleaver now, just a perfectly executed squeeze play for the North Polk Comets earlier in this game. Will be interesting. She's eyeing her runner over at third base. Will be interesting to see what she does here in that same situation.
And tight on Cleaver, the first pitch from Kingsley. A part of that wonderfully executed squeeze play we saw bring in a run in the first. Pitch 2 to Cleaver, hit hard to left field, and that's going to bring in another run for the Comets as Ava Fjellen scores and North Polk reclaims the lead.
And a great sequence there. You had the double by IGHSAU looking to help her own cause. And it was Lucy Lucas hit it to the right side, get the runner over to third, and Cleaver able to drive her in with the single.
That's the second RBI of the day for Cleaver. And so the lead goes back in favor of the home team here. And the higher seed North Polk Comets, bottom of 3. And so far, Caitlin Cleaver has been the offensive dynamo for this Comets team, leading 3-2. Tessa Dillinger into the batter's box for North Polk. And a foul ball that might have caught Dillinger a bit on its way out of the box.
And North Polk here, I mean, they're looking to add on to their lead. Dillinger with some power at the plate. A big swinging left-handed hitter.
Here's a ground ball up the middle. Getting to it at second was Vogt. Not in time. And the inning stays alive for North Polk. Racing there from first was Caitlin Cleaver and sliding in time.
And that's a tough play as a second baseman for Vogt. I mean, your momentum's going towards second base, so you try and just get the flip to second. She may have been better off planting that back foot, trying to make the throw over to first.
Kingsley now, after seeing the tie game, turn back in the Comets' favor, facing 2 runners on and 2 outs. As her first pitch is where she wanted it, in on the corner on Larissa Koth. Koth batting .308 on the year with 25 RBI and 4 that she sent over the fence. Breaking ball that helps Kingsley jump ahead to an 0-2 count.
You mentioned it earlier, but this North Polk team, almost everyone in the squad's hit at least 1 home run throughout this season. They have power up and down the lineup. And Koth in the 7 spot today, looking to do some damage.
Koth keeps her at bat alive. Just a touch on that one. Oh, 2 outs here in the bottom of 3. This one's grounded towards third off the glove of Adeline Johnson, and she's unable to scoop it up in time to make the tag, and all of a sudden the bases are juiced here for the Comets and sophomore Alex Mulkey.
This inning, you know, there hasn't been a lot of runs scored, 3 runs scored so far in the inning, but it's been a very long inning. And you can tell for these players defensively, it's almost like the ball is catching them off guard a little bit as these pitchers are starting to go deeper into counts.
Mulkey flew out to left in her first at bat of the day. Checks her swing and fouls one off for an 0-1 count.
And this is familiar territory for Kingsley. This was a situation against Norwalk, she was in several times on Monday. They would get runners on. She would dial it in and just throw gas and get herself out of these 2-out bases loaded situations.
In a situation like this as a pitcher, are you just completely trying to block out everything around you? 2 outs,
yes.
Bases loaded. It shouldn't matter,
it's
right?
you and the batter.
Yep.
It's you, your catcher, and the batter. You're dialed in. You're hitting your spots. You're trying to get a ground ball for your defense.
Ground ball. That's going to bring in at least one. As around comes Cleaver, the throw gets past the catcher. Could there be a play at the plate? And a head first slide in for the Comets to stretch the lead, as just in the nick of time, Tessa Dillinger takes advantage of the pass ball, and it is a 5-2 lead.
And a great piece of hitting there for Mulkey, driving that ball into right center field, finding her way on top of it, and doing some damage with 2 outs.
On an 0-2 count. Maybe a bit of fatigue there from Kingsley, left that one up, and perhaps coach of the Lancers, Holly Holting, agreeing, as that'll be it for Kingsley's day. So we'll have a substitution courtesy of IMT Insurance. Katie Bradar will come in and take to the circle here to try and settle things down for the Lady Lancers, who have seen this inning go haywire. Bradar this season, a viable option, 14-5 on the year, a 1.65 ERA, so not like you're putting somebody in that is in unfamiliar territory. Bradar's been a great part of this team in the circle for the Lady Lancers this season, helping them to that 30-11 record, getting them here to Fort Dodge. So Bradar, who actually, should mention, she came in and left at the beginning of this inning. Anna Campbell was not out there and left, which I called incorrectly, and when you mess up, you fess up. So Bradar will come in now. Let's see who we've got going out to left, if we can try to catch a number.
That is Campbell out there in left field.
Thank you, partner.
Yep. I was just trying to catch that as well, and our PA announcer, Tim Fitzpatrick, had me covered on that.
As he usually does. So, Bradar will come in. The lead is 5-2. North Polk was able to sneak in one in this inning, and then it looked like things were pretty much ready to go to the fourth with 2 outs, and then we blinked, the bases were loaded, and then that single moments ago from Mulkey drove in 2. Audrey Lucas will step in as the 9-spot batter here for North Polk, and still some runners that the Comets would love to bring in.
And Audrey in her first at bat was showing slap here. You'll see her with her feet set. She's looking for some power with runners on second and third.
Takes a strike for a 1-1 count.
This is Breeder's first action in the circle throughout this state tournament. It's been Kingsley carrying the load so far for North Scott. You'll see off speed there. She's going to mix in that changeup more. Really effective pitch for the second strike.
1-2 count to Audrey Lucas. Just missing on the outside, and the count moves 2-2. Top of the order looming if you don't manage to retire Lucas here. That one's low and outside, and all of a sudden Bradar in her first batter here is pitched her way to a full count.
And it's always hard to come in relief as a pitcher. Luckily right now she does have first base open. So
this one hit
How about that for a foul ball from your number 9 hitter?
I said hit, and then I instantly went, that's pounded.
That thing was crushed out into right field.
A foul ball.
After seeing that, if you're North Scott, you might want to be a little bit more careful pitching to Lucas right now.
3-2 count continues. And a walk for Lucas that will bring up the top of the order in Maddie Cleaver, who by her standards will say she is due. A ground out in the first, a strikeout in the second, and now the second bases loaded situation this inning for North Polk. They brought in 2 the last time they were in this position minutes ago. That one's in the dirt from Bradar.
And Bradar, not a pitcher who has thrown a ton of walks throughout the season, and 23 appearances, 119 innings pitched, only 27 walks coming into the state tournament. So not a pitcher you expect to see many walks from, but right now just missing below the zone.
Well, you called it coming into a game, let alone one of this magnitude, already with a mess that you got to clean up. Try to keep that mental game strong. It's got to be hard to stay dialed in. As she finds the plate there for her first strike of the at-bat against the sophomore Cleaver and leadoff hitter for these Comets.
She continues to work in that off-speed pitch. I love it. You're down 2-0 in the count, but she's, even in that situation, willing to mix in that changeup. I think it's the pitch right now. She's throwing her best. You don't want to throw it too much, get these hitters too familiar with that pitch, but down 3-1 in the count right now.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. This one's hit to first, and it's through. One will score, and the runner around third slides in. As racing to home plate is Alex Mulkey. She drove in she scores herself. And the Comets have broken this game open. It's 7-2.
You are exactly right. This game feels like it has completely busted open at this point. What a hit. And what an at-bat for Maddie Cleaver to drive that down the right field line. Getting a job done with the bases loaded.
Well, hitters love that 3-1 count. And Cleaver got a pitch she liked.
I mean, that's just a hitter's dream. You come up, bases loaded, you have a 3-1 count. You're putting a huge swing on that ball.
Lainey Welch is going to take a second here to head to the mound and talk to Katie Brader, who's come into a pressure cooker situation. Can see a bit of a smile on Brader's face from here. That's a good sign.
It's a great
for
sign.
The Lady Lancers.
And even with how long this inning has been, we're still early in this game. Still plenty of at-bats for North Scott to start chipping away at this lead.
So Brader trying to settle down here. Misses on that try, and she's behind again, this time on Ava Kudelka, who's 1 for 2 on the day. Both at-bats, though, she has hit the ball with some sting. She had that double in the first and then the line out into left center field.
That's a swing. She was looking to do some damage with that swing, and I love it. You're ahead 2-0 in the count. You have runners in scoring position. Why not put a big swing on the ball and see what you can do? Great off-speed pitch by Brader.
Well, that breaking ball, you've said it a few times, it seems to be the one she has most in command right now. 2-2 here to Kudelka. There it is again, and Kudelka a bit ahead of it, fouls it off. The count stays 2-2. Kudelka also a volleyball player for the Comets. Honorable mention all-conference player here for softball portion of her athletic schedule. Outside there for another full count. And a chance for Kudelka to really put an exclamation point on an inning that's already been an exclamation point inning for these Comets. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, and there's that beautiful breaking ball as Brader's able to finally bring to a close. Quite a tumultuous inning for the Lady Lancers offensively. The Comets with a lot in that third inning as we'll head to the fourth, and now the Lancers will try to carve their way back down 7-2 here in the 4A semis in Fort Dodge.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/wecare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number. At SWIC, we are one.
You're enjoying the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships, brought to you by the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud supporters of the IGHSAU, the Iowa Farm Bureau is committed to championing the talent, determination, and potential of our young athletes, the future of Iowa. Hope you've enjoyed the journey so far here from Fort Dodge, the 4A semifinals. The Pella Dutch are already waiting to see who will come out of the other side of the 4A bracket. North Scott and North Polk trying to decide who will be the eventual opponents of the Dutch come championship time. It's a 7-2 lead for the Comets, who broke the game open back in the third inning. Headed to the fourth now, Allie Kappert for this Lady Lancer team now. Looks like we might have a bit of a longer delay. The heat starting to rise. It must have been 90 degrees, huh? We were talking about it. We thought we might get that 3-minute hydration window, but it was teetering right there, 89. Once we got to, I think it's 90 degrees now. Should we double check that to see if we can prove our hypothesis correct? There it is, 90 degrees. That must be the benchmark they have to get to for these long delays. But a long way around the barn, let's get to the question I want to ask you. For the Lady Lancers, fourth inning now, you maybe start to feel like this game, you're over halfway done. You start to feel like the clock is going to become an issue now. You would love to eat the whole elephant here in this inning and tie the game, but it feels like you maybe need to get at least one, or at least get some hits, get some mojo back, right?
100%. I mean, if you're North Scott, you have 12 outs to work with still. That is plenty of at-bats to come up and start chipping away at this lead. And as you mentioned, they're taking just a short break here. Umpires are heading back out on the field. They're going 3-minute breaks throughout the games today. So if you're watching several games, you're going to see quite a few about 3 to 4 minute breaks. Give the umpires some time to cool off. Give the players some time to cool off as well. But as I mentioned, 12 outs to work with. Plenty of time to start chipping away at this lead, but it has to start now. You can't let those outs diminish without scoring any runs.
North Polk Comets team that, looking at their schedule this season, some awfully impressive wins on their resume as they come into Fort Dodge, beating Waukee Northwest earlier this season, a sweep of the defending 4A champions Carlisle, the two times they played them, an 8-0 win over ADM in July. This is a club that has faced some of the best the state has to offer. It's why they're ranked number 5 statewide, and well, right now they're showcasing why they think they should be the team to take on the underdogs, the Dutch, in the final.
That Raccoon River Conference is just so powerful in Central Iowa. You have the Little Hawkeye and Raccoon River Conferences that plays some really good softball at the 4A level.
Well, stepping in for the Lady Lancers here to start this fourth inning is Aubrey Toohey. Sacrifice bunt, her first at bat. Tui, the junior, with a .319 batting average, some speed when she gets on base as well. She's stolen successfully 8 times this season.
And both of our pitchers put in a lot of work in the third inning. Actually, all 3 of our pitchers, I should say now. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out for the latter part of this game.
And for both sets of batters, if you're looking for signs of fatigue from a pitcher, what would you be looking for?
It's when you start to see a little bit less movement on the ball. And you'll start to notice slight differences in velocity, but if you're noticing that the ball's moving less, it just means they're getting less wrist snap on that ball. That was a perfect pitch by IGHSAU, and we had the perfect angle there. That ball, there was no shortage of movement on the curveball by IGHSAU.
It just seems IGHSAU has really been diversifying every at-bat. She's not been favoring anywhere. She's brought in the rise ball when she's needed it. She's thrown outside, she's thrown inside, she's thrown at the knees. Seems to be still really in command despite so many pitches through 3 innings of this game.
In this entire complex, we have really the best angle with where we're sitting on the movement of that ball. And as I mentioned, that strikeout pitch was a curveball, and it jumped outside.
This one's hit high into the air to right. Can of corn for Maddie Cleaver. And so far, so good here in the top of 4 for the Comets. Maya Vogt steps in with 2 outs. Vogt, who struck out to end the 2nd inning, takes a first pitch strike from IGHSAU. This one's hit hard, but quite foul down the left field line.
And IGHSAU just continues. I mean, she's working the same pitch sequence throughout the game, working outside, then mixing in those rise balls. And she's done a really, really nice job this inning, getting ahead of hitters and getting her to chase those pitches.
Looking for that outside corner, just missing.
I love that pitch. 0-2 count. You're about 2 balls off the plate. See if you can get a call. That time she doesn't, but she's still ahead and she's still in control.
Vogt contending with IGHSAU, who's had her best stuff most of the day. And she's got another one as she rings up Vogt. As she takes one inside on the corner for strike 3, and cruising through 4 innings is the powerful pitcher Ava IGHSAU. And now North Polk will have a chance to get the bats going again, still leading 7-2 in the 4A semifinals.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Well, North Polk is strutting their best right now, commanding 7-2 lead over the North Scott Lady Lancers. Ben Gislason and Allie Kappert here from Fort Dodge. A sunny day here, north central Iowa, as not a cloud in the sky. So we're taking our time in between innings and making sure everybody's hydrated. North Polk trying to make sure that they are the opponents of Pella in the 4A final. They're in command right now, and stepping into the plate, player who's been in command all day, and pitcher Ava IGHSAU. And to go along with her great day in the circle, she's 2 for 2.
As you mentioned, North Polk looking for that date with Pella tomorrow night. They have seen Pella earlier this season, and that was a good game, a 3-1 ball game.
1-0 count to IGHSAU. Again, now facing Katie Brader, who came in to replace Chevelle Kingsley in the 3rd inning. One of the longer innings you'll see there between Kingsley and Brader. Bases were loaded 2 separate times. IGHSAU hit this one a ton, and it is gone. Ava IGHSAU, who's been pitching perfection all day. She can do it with the bat, too. IGHSAU with her 11th home run of the season. That was a towering drive to center field, and the Comets make it 8-2.
And IGHSAU has been so effective at the plate today. Her spot in the lineup has scored all 3 times up. She is hot in the circle, hot at the plate. She's looking to get it done for her team.
That extra base hit brought to you by Channels Seeds, and an extra base hit that covers all of them there, as that one was sailing over the center field fence. And so a lucky fan will go home with a souvenir softball or turn it in to the concession stand for a sucker. I've been told that is a deal you can work out. And you don't even have to negotiate it. They'll just give it to you.
And a lot of times those home run balls will make it back to the family. So
I hope it does.
Yeah, I hope it does as well. I heard the officials from the Girls Athletic Union, they're hoping they have enough softballs to cover the week with how many home runs have been hitting.
Yeah, I got to see a grand slam in yesterday's 2A game later in the day. West Lyon advancing there in the 3A. Grounder here from Lucy Lucas to first, and she'll trot back to the dugout as Brinley Schroeder will put out Lucas at first for their first out.
Second baseman, Caitlin Claver.
I just feel like, I mean, that home run, only a solo shot, but I feel like it just kind of took the air out of this ballpark right now.
When we talked about the Lancers needing to get a little something going in that top of the 4th, they didn't. And then you double down on it by giving up that solo shot. That even though it may not feel like a put-away homer, the emotional toll that hit might have taken, we'll have to wait and see how the Lancers respond to it.
And Brader doing a nice job getting the unassisted ground ball to right after the home run, and now ahead 0-2. So she's doing a nice job dialing it back in. But North Polk just looking to add on more.
Caitlin Cleaver pounding this one into the gap. That's going to get down. It's off the fence. Cleaver roaring around first. She slides in for another hit. She's got her 2nd hit of the day. She's got 2 RBIs to go along with it. Have a day, Caitlin Cleaver.
And Cleaver doing a really nice job. She's down 0-2 in that count. Able to take that ball out into right center.
Channel Seeds extra base hit there for Cleaver. Really a foundational player in the middle of this lineup for this North Polk team that's looking awfully potent right now here in the semifinal. North Polk team that got to this game last year, they fell to ADM 7-2 in this game. There's a ground ball by Tessa Dillinger. That's going to get in as well, as another run comes home. Sliding in is Caitlin Cleaver, an RBI single for Dillinger. And it is a 9-2 ball game.
In North Polk right now, I mean, they're just doing it with the bats. They're going, every single one of these hits has been between the second baseman and shortstop, meaning they are driving the ball right back up the middle. They have it timed upright, and they are making solid contact.
One out, and Dillinger remains on first base here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the Lancers are in trouble. Larissa Koth steps in looking for her first hit of the day. She did get on base on an error her last time at the plate, and now Holly Holting's going to come out here and chat with Brader.
I just feel like right now North Polk has complete control over this ball game. As I mentioned, they're really squaring it up at the plate against Brader right now, hitting ball after ball out into center field.
And Brader just hasn't quite looked comfortable from the onset when she jumped into the game. And give her some grace, she did come into a bases-loaded situation and had a little trouble finding the plate those first few batters. And now that she started to find the plate a little bit more, the Comets have taken advantage of some balls up in the zone and have added some runs to their day. Still time left, but the Lancers are leaking oil right now. They have to shut this down and then get the bats going. Right now, 10 hits for the Comets, 3 for the Lancers. And that really demonstrates why the score is what it is. This one hit high and hard to left, and it's caught at the fence. Anna Campbell getting there. That one had everybody standing here at Channel Seeds Field, I can tell you that.
That was a hard hit ball from our angle. It definitely had the height, just a couple feet short on the distance for Koth. Another hard hit ball.
So Koth unable to get just enough oomph on it. Maybe needed a gust of wind to get that over the fence. She's retired as Alex Mulkey comes in. She hit that single in the third that drove in 2. Scored later on that inning as well. RBI littered all over the lineup on the batting order for this North Polk team. Has not been one area that's been better than the next. They've all contributed.
That's a great point. And I mean, the runs scored are through the entire lineup. I mean, obviously, Husak's spot in the lineup is leading with 3 runs, but Claver's spot has 2 runs as well.
Good
production.
Pitch there. And the throwdown, that was closer than maybe we expected it to be. Quick work from behind the dish there from Lainey Welch. So a 1-2 count here. 4th inning to the sophomore Mulkey. 1 for 2 on the day. She hits this one on the ground to third. Long throw on the money.
Another close one right down the line. That one not quite as hard hit as the one we saw in the first inning by Kudelka.
And that one has ended up foul. So Mulkey gets another chance at this here in the 1-2 count. Breaking ball that is called high from home plate umpire Tim Rogers. And the count at 2-2 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And North Polk is holding the conductor's wand in this one. This one's hit into the air, and it's just over the head of Maya Vogt. And the inning will continue here for the Comets.
Really good base running right there by Tessa Dillinger. She knows she's thinking 2 bases with 2 outs. She doesn't stop, able to make it over to third. And with the throw then, able to make it on to second is Mulkey.
Second knock of the day for the shortstop Mulkey. Gets to second on the throw, and now Audrey Lucas will dig in. Left-handed batter in the 9-hole here at .372 this season. She's walked and popped out to third base so far this afternoon.
And Brader back-to-back pitches missing on that outside corner. Lucas was the first batter that Brader saw, so Brader's made her way through the entire lineup now. Every North Polk Comet has seen her in the circle.
2-0 count to Audrey Lucas. Swung on and missed for the first strike of the at-bat. Lucas getting to play with her senior sister Lucy. one of my favorite parts of coming up here to Fort Dodge is seeing all the family ties and sisters getting to win together and compete together. Lifelong memories that I'm sure they'll be sharing for years and years to come.
For sure.
This one's hit hard to left, and a diving grab by Anna Campbell.
So we have two.
Thought she caught that, didn't she?
I think they're going to say she caught that. Yep.
And there were 2 outs.
Well, they're going to have a conversation here because I think the question is, was it on the transition or the catch that the ball came out? And it's hard because home plate umpire made the call right away near the North Scott team hustling in. And it is a catch.
It is a catch. So after a brief conference, the inning ends, but more damage for the Comets. A 9-2 lead for North Polk as we head to the 5th. Here from Channel Seeds Field at the Hazel and Harlan Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge.
Leads 9-2 after 4.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you, and you feel matters. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
Now find me another state tournament where you've got a t-shirt cannon, and we're about to see a pretty big spectacle here, Allie, as it looks like the Girls High School League has a couple of their officials out here with a t-shirt cannon. We're going to try to fire one from second base to deep center field. It's way back, and it burst open at the seams before it could get there. And so now they're going to have to head out there and retrieve that t-shirt that got out to the fence. Pesky wind. I thought the wind might actually help that.
It almost made it. That's the funny thing, is it broke open and it almost made it. As they just said on the PA, the highlight of the week, a t-shirt cannon.
Well, I would have been pretty impressed if that t-shirt would have gotten there. But a little bit of a delayed break here for the Heat, and both teams making sure they've got enough water, umpires included. Ben Gislis and Allie Kappert here from Channel Seeds Field in Fort Dodge, and the 4A semifinals are getting into the late stages here. As we know, Pella is on, and the North Scott Lady Lancers are trying to make this one interesting. They've got 7 runs to make up for, and a North Polk team that they had that big inning in the 3rd, but they've pretty much chipped away all day long.
And Ava Husak in the circle in the 4th inning. She lost control a tiny bit in the 3rd. That turned into a little bit of a longer inning for her, but the 4th inning, she was able to come back and just dial it in against this North Scott offense.
So the Lancers will head to the plate here in the 5th. And they'll start at the top of the order. Tinley Osterberg will look to ignite this dugout and this crowd here for North Scott.
And Osterberg looking for her first hit today. She had 2 singles in the game on Monday. A really bright spot at the top of this North Scott lineup.
First pitch comes in for a ball on Osterberg.
Osterberg, just a freshman, starting shortstop for this Lancer team, hitting in the leadoff spot. A really, really bright future ahead for her.
Osterberg hits one shallow down the line on third, and Harper Lincoln's able to get there and put away the Lancers' leadoff hitter in Osterberg.
And once again, it's Kamila Eller now looking to get things going for Nair Scott. She's been truly amazing in this tournament. She had the double and single on Monday, the single and a run scored today. Some great catches out in center field on the cover of the program.
Well, the Lancer team that had no problem grooving the softball in that quarterfinal win over Norwalk. It's amazing what a day and a half can do to a team's bats, and we've seen them just put 3 hits on the board here in this game. Did bring in 2 runs, but if you could diagnose this to the best of your ability, Allie, what have you seen, maybe aside from, of course, hitting the ball, the Lancers just haven't been able to do today that you did see them do against Norwalk?
You know, the first thing to point out, hitting in softball is contagious. When one person does it, it's so much easier for the next hitter and the next hitter. It truly is a viral thing, some would say, with the sport of softball. But I think right now they're just chasing pitches that are slightly out of the zone. Husak's done a really nice job in the circle, staying just above their hands, getting the pop-ups, and then leading to all the strikeouts that she's had.
Well, and you mentioned it's not like the pitching has changed all that immensely as we see Husak continuing to control the game. She strikes out the dangerous Eller there, but they saw Carly Brewer in Norwalk in that opener, so it's not like they've gone from a pedestrian pitcher to an ace.
Right.
They've been seeing difficult pitchers this whole tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they saw an Iowa commit in game 1, a Drake commit in game 2. They've faced the best of the best at this Iowa High School State tournament.
Husak has just had a terrific day. 6 strikeouts for the senior Drake commit. Brenly Schroeder now in for the Lancers, and she ropes one out to left field. That's a nice piece of hitting there from Schroeder. That's her second hit of the day, so she's had a decent afternoon here, and she'll hope that can inspire her teammates to get something going here. Saw her turn and start clapping to the dugout saying, hey, this one's not over yet.
And Schroeder's done a really nice job driving with power to the opposite field.
So 1 out and Schroeder on first. And a foul ball from Lainey Welch. Welch a strikeout and an RBI single that came back in the 3rd inning. Lancers would go on to tie the game at 2 in that 3rd inning. The 0-1 count to Welch is in there for a strike. Husak has not been behind much today.
No, and the 0-2 count is obviously where any pitcher is comfortable, but it's where she thrives. She's able to throw the rise ball or that curve ball and go 2 to 3 balls off the plate outside with that pitch.
There's the rise ball. This one's hit awfully hard to left, but not far enough as Audrey Lucas is there to settle down the fly ball and end the inning. And so the Comets will go back to the plate as they cruise into the bottom of 5, up 9-2.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Into the bottom of 5 we go as the Comets faithful roaring here at Channel Seeds Field, and there's been a lot to cheer for. A 9-2 lead that the champions of Region 7 have, heading towards what could be a state championship berth if they can see this through. Ben Gistelson and Allie Kappert, as well as Sam Nord, our producer here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. And the Lancers will try to make this a quick inning as the outs are starting to dry up for the 7th-seeded Lady Lancers as we're getting deep into this game now in the 5th. 2 more at-bats.
In North Polk, I mean, now we're in the 5th inning here, looking to try and end this game early. They have heart of a lineup coming up here.
Do you look at that as something that can be advantageous to your team to end a game early and save a little fatigue playing out the final few innings?
Not only that, just the confidence it can build. I mean, if you can come out of a game, put up 12 runs in a state semifinal, huge confidence boost. Regardless of if you're playing, I mean, maybe for your pitcher, I guess it saves a couple of innings for your pitcher, but hitters and fielders, you don't really care either way if you're playing 5 or 7 innings, but just the confidence boost it gives you.
Maddie Cleaver at the plate, by the way. 2-1 count. She hits one high into the air to center. It's like a net out there in center field when you have Kamila Eller. Not a lot of room to find the grass when she's ranging out there.
Yeah, you're not going to get one on the ground by Eller. If it's anywhere in the vicinity, it's going in her glove.
Kudelka steps in.
Nice bunt.
Lays down a beautiful bunt. Tough play, and it's not in time. An exceptional set of hands on Ava Kudelka, who's got her 2nd hit of the day.
I mean, that was just perfectly executed. She was able to push that down the first base line. I don't think anyone in the ballpark was expecting that.
So Kudelka at first, and Ava Husak, who belted a solo shot her last at-bat.
And Northcott needs to be careful right now with Husak up at the plate. I mean, she is hitting with power today.
That one's on the just outside of the plate for a ball. 2-0 here to Husak. 2 singles in that home run. Has been the leader with a capital L for this North Polk team today in the circle and at the plate. And Brader being very careful with Husak, understandably so.
In this situation, you'd much rather take a walk than any sort of RBI in this situation. So I don't mind one bit that North Scott's choosing to pitch around Husak right now. And if you're Husak, you have a green light. It's a good walk.
And so Brader says, I'll deal with someone else. Husak will take a walk.
Base on balls for Husak.
1 out, 2 on. And the mercy rule coming into effect here now. It's a possibility in this 5th inning. IMT substitution as well coming in. Ava Fjellin will stride over to first to run for Husak. Lucy Lucas stepping into the box for her 4th at bat.
And Lucas looking for some redemption right now. Back-to-back groundouts to the first baseman for her. So she's looking to get something out into the green, help her team out.
Strike on the outside corner for Brader to open the at-bat. pulled out of the dirt by Lucas. That one's going to get down. That'll load up the bases. Picked a spot and found it. The senior catcher loads them up here in the 5th.
And almost the best case, or the best part of that situation for North Scott was it hung up in the air so far the runners weren't able to advance. So the runners only able to take one base and load them up instead of get any runs in.
Lucas has her first hit of the day, and Caitlin Cleaver will saddle up here with the bases loaded and 1 out. And you know the Lancers have got to come home now.
And I think we could say it about just about any hitter in this North Polk lineup, but Cleaver, a very dangerous hitter at the plate, executed the perfect squeeze in the first inning, then had a single, then had a double. So she is looking to stay perfect in this game.
Yeah, just a monster day for the senior. Swings on a high breaking ball and pops it up, and that is exactly what Brader wants to see. And that will simplify things quite a bit here. The threat's not over, but now 2 outs for Brader and the Lancers. Tessa Dillinger's had a nice day. RBI single, her last at bat. Dillinger hits one into the air, and it's caught at second base, and so the Lancers are able to just skirt past a bases-loaded situation as we'll head to the 6th. The Lancers trying to spark the bats here in Fort Dodge.
We know that carrying your groceries out to your car seems a bit old school, that saying hello and asking about your day feels like a thing of the past. Being best at fresh, it's not just a fad. Serving high-quality meat at affordable prices? Talk about a throwback. But at Fairway, that's kind of our thing. Because some things never go out of style. Friendly at Fairway. It's more than just a name.
The Iowa Farm Bureau knows that strong schools build strong communities. That's why they proudly support the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and this inspiring girls state softball championship. By supporting Iowa's youth, they're helping build Iowa's future. Back here at Channel Seeds Field in Fort Dodge, a comfy 9-2 lead for the North Polk Comets. Ben Gislason and Allie Kappert here. And North Polk just looking to keep riding this winning horse, and IGHSAU, who's had a sterling day in the circle, a sterling day at the plate. If things hold out, looks like a potent club that could be going into the final against Pella.
Yeah, and if you're North Polk right now, obviously things are going really, really well in this game, but obviously kind of bummed in that situation that you didn't plate the runs needed to get the run rule. It's one of those things. It is extremely hot out today. They play again tomorrow. If you can save your pitcher from throwing any additional innings, obviously you want to. So kind of a bummer here for North Polk having to continue with this game. Another heat break we're taking right now, so we'll start back up here in a couple of minutes. But on the day, 13 hits, 9 runs. IGHSAU's been lights out in the circle. At this point, you're looking at what can you do to carry that momentum into tomorrow. And if you're North Scott, you have 6 outs still. 6 outs to make something happen. It's not impossible, but it needs to start now.
Well, for North Polk, the mantra has to be something along the lines of take the outs you can get and just don't overcomplicate anything. Because in a situation like this where these games can start to unravel on you late, you saw the way North Polk won in that quarterfinal, a passed ball, an overthrown ball. Errors at this time of the game, it can breathe life into the dying embers of a team in North Scott, so you just need to probably keep it focused on clean softball at this point. If that means surrendering a run here or there, as long as you don't let 1 turn to 2, 2 turn to 4 with those errors, you should be able to make your way through those next 6 outs.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that's something we saw in the game on Monday between North Scott and Norwalk. North Scott was holding a 7-0 lead, and bottom of the 7th, Norwalk came up, played it a run, had the bases loaded, and it really looked like they were about to make something happen. It was just too little, too late.
So the Lancers will begin with Adeline Johnson here, who was a part of the 2 runs scored in that 3rd inning. Chevelle Kingsley and Aubrey Toohey due up here for North Scott, trying to keep their hopes of a berth in the championship game here in the 4A bracket alive, but it would take quite a momentous comeback at this point, but stranger things have happened.
Starting things off for North Scott.
Top of 6 here.
Third baseman Adeline Johnson.
Adeline Johnson, the third base junior, will sidle up to the batter's box. Usack again with that rise ball. That's been a key weapon in her arsenal, specifically today, but I'm sure her whole career.
It's a pitch she throws very, very well, and she's able to complement it with the curveball on the outside corner. As a pitcher, big thing young pitchers try and do maybe too much of is develop too many pitches too soon. If you can have 2 really dominant pitches, you're going to be a great pitcher. And that's something that as a young pitcher, pick a pitch, master it. Don't go on to something else until you've mastered that one off-speed pitch, the one movement pitch, whatever it may be.
This one hammered to left. Get out of here. A blast from Adeline Johnson, and just the pulse the Lancers needed here in the 6th. And it's 9-3 on the solo shot by the junior.
That ball was an absolute shot into left field over the bleachers. Not a single person out there even lifted their arms to try and catch it. It cleared everything.
Johnson's 5th home run of the season. And the 2 schools of thought here, if you're North Polk, because it's just 1 run, but if you're the Lancers, it's a hit and a run at the same time, something you've had very few of in this game. And something to get the whole dugout up and out of the dugout cheering. The fans get a little more active. Now can you build on it as Chevelle Kingsley steps in?
You never know what it's going to be that just lights a fire for your team.
Well, and truly at this tournament, been coming here enough now. No lead is safe.
Usack going rise ball on the outside corner there, not able to get the chase by Kingsley.
One count to Kingsley and a big hack. A great pitch there up high towards the letters from Husak. What is it about those high pitches that just get you licking your chops?
You know, out of the hand, it looks like it's coming belt high. And you think you're getting a sweet pitch right down the middle. And when it's about halfway to you, it just jumps. And you're already halfway through your swing before you're saying, uh-oh, I just missed that one. So it looks like a sweet pitch coming in.
2-2 to Kingsley. And a beautiful breaking ball that gets Kingsley swinging. Second strikeout of the day for Kingsley and the 7th K for the senior Husak.
And as Husak finishes up her high school career, I think this is a game she'll definitely look back on as long as she can close this out as, you know, just a real highlight for her.
Really hasn't wavered all day, and specifically earlier in the game, it wasn't like it was a clean sheet the whole time. There were a few runners behind her when the game was closer. North Scott was able to come back and tie the game after being down 2-0. And almost able to scoop that with the basket catch back behind the dish there. Just unable to pull it off of the mesh was Lucy Lucas.
When those plays happen, it feels like we're part of the play. right here behind home plate, and Lucas almost had that.
When all we can do to judge where that ball's coming down or if it's coming down is watch the eyes of the catcher.
Right.
The 1-1 hit high towards right field. Calling for it is Caitlin Cleaver, and she squeezes tight and retires Aubrey Toohey. And now 2 outs here in the 6th for North Polk.
Well played out at second base for Claver. We've talked several times throughout this game about the breeze, the sun, all of the elements are playing against these fielders today. Really nice job tracking that down.
Pitcher Katie Brader in here for the Lancers. As IGHSAU looks to wrap up another solid inning despite a small blip on the radar there with the solo shot. Still very much in command here. Comets leading 9-3. They're 4 outs away from a state final berth. One here to Brader. Breaking ball swung on and fouled off to the right over the dugout.
And once again, IGHSAU ahead in the count. She's attacking these hitters early, getting to the count she wants, and then she's showing off what she can do.
A few more bright yellow softballs making their way out to home plate umpire Tim Rogers. Everywhere you turn here, there's a girls' union official helping out. The army of people that they get out here to Fort Dodge to put this thing on never ceases to amaze me. Another breaking ball on the outside, and Brader's able to get a piece of it.
I mean, you have 5 classes, 8 teams per class. You have 40 teams up here. You need enough people working this tournament to accommodate all 40 teams and make it just a great experience for every single athlete, coach, and fan.
The 1-2. That rise ball that Brader couldn't quite lay off of. She just lays the bat out there to keep the at-bat alive. You could almost see what you described about the rise ball playing out in real time there as she started to swing, and then that ball started rising, and she went, uh-oh, better not take a hack at this.
Yep. It's tough as a hitter when you see that ball coming, like I said, waist high, belt high, and you think you're just going to crush it, and the ball flies on you.
This one's flared, and again, that wind, you could tell. It looked like Lucas was under it, and then it snapped back on her. The athleticism, too, of a catcher, and I've always is amazed whether you watch baseball or softball, they have to get their bearings so fast.
So fast.
You're spinning, you're turning, you're taking the mask off. You're, by the way, running around in catching equipment as well. It never ceases to amaze me how much they're sorting out in such a quick amount of time. And the footing, too, the footwork is something to behold as well.
IGHSAU going back to the rise ball as she's ahead in the count.
Two here, good at bat from Brader. That one's outside, and Brader's worked her way back to a full count. To count, 2 outs here in the top of 6. The rise ball's high, and now Brader will trot to first base. That is a superb at bat from Brader, who took IGHSAU's best and was able to deal with it.
Yeah, a great job by Brader. She didn't chase any pitches out of the zone in that at bat, able to find her way on first. And North Scott doesn't need all of the runs in this inning. If they can get Brader and maybe one more in, they leave themselves a much better situation for the 7th inning.
Sophomore Eliana Nelson is going to step into the batter's box here. Her first at-bat of the day. That's an IMT substitution. As the sophomore comes in, she's had 55 at-bats in the regular season. Into quite a moment now. And in a spot like this, you can't help but think, what if? Good pitch there on the outside corner from HUSAC.
And HUSAC knows she's late in the game. You have a pinch hitter coming in, attack the zone. Go right at the zone. Let your defense work if she puts it in play. But you're at the point right now you need to attack.
236 hitter on the year for Nelson. 2 outs in the top of the 6th here and a runner on first. High for ball 2. Takes outside for a 2-2 count.
And I think we're seeing a lot of the players right now just losing a little bit of steam. The breeze is nice, but it is hot out today. And the longer these defenders are out in the field, the tougher it is to keep that focus, pitch in and pitch out.
And humid too. It's the double down of heat when you've got the humidity like this and the temperature this high. It's just impossible to stay cool. And as we pointed out earlier, there's maybe one cloud, and I can't even try to quantify how many miles away that cloud
right.
is from here in Fort Dodge. As a rise ball comes in high for a walk. Well, don't look now. But the Lancers have a little bit going right now here in the 6th. Try to bring a couple of these in and make it a more manageable 7th inning if you can get there, and to the top of the order we go.
And Maya Vote's going to come back in and run the bases. Get the speed back on the bases.
So an IMT substitution with Vote heading to first. 2 runners on, 2 outs here for the Lady Lancers as they try to keep a flame of hope alive for their state championship dreams. Osterberg, who is 0 for 3 on the day. That one's low as Osterberg skips out of the way.
I would like to see at some point here maybe someone from North Polk call timeout, talk with HUSAC, give her a bit of a breather, and then be able to dial it back in. She's lost the zone a little bit for the first time in this game.
2 straight walks here, and she fell behind 2-0 on Osterberg. Gets the foul ball there for a 2-1 count.
I mean, North Scott right now is one big swing away from really feeling like they're back in this game.
Osterberg did not hit a home run in the regular season. It would be a whale of a time for her first. This one's flown to center field. And Kadelka puts away the threat. The Lancers do gain 1 back on a solo shot by Adeline Johnson, but that's it. So North Polk will have a chance if they can put some runs on the board to end it early. It's 9-3. North Polk has the lead over North Scott heading to the bottom of the 6th.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
From the complex
9-3 Comets looking to shoot their way into the state final against Pella tomorrow. If they can put away the Lancers, they could do it with some runs here, or they could do it with some defense in the bottom of the 7th. Ben Gisleson and the former Iowa State Cyclone stand out. Allie Kappert with you here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. And in the circle for what could be the last time today, Katie Brader. Comets really have handled both pitching options that the North Scott Lady Lancers have thrown their way with relative ease. It's been such a good day at the plate for the Comets and so many different contributions. It's a great problem to have this time of year. Who's going to be the go-to player? It's nice to say you don't have one.
Especially going into what possibly could be a state championship for the Comets tomorrow. I mean, if you're seeing 9 hot bats in a lineup, that is a scary moment for the opponent.
2 RBI for Maddie Cleaver, a double for Ava Kadelka earlier in the day. A 3-for-3 performance with a home run from Ava Husak. Lucy Lucas getting on base in her last at bat. A few RBIs from Caitlin Cleaver. Tessa Dillinger's driven in a run. And even deeper in the lineup, the 8-hitter and Alex Mulkey has 2 RBI today. So it really is just checkered with players that are contributing. As a fly ball that lands in there just out of the reach of 3 players trying to triangulate that ball.
That ball looked like it was going to go over the fence out in right field, the foul fence, but that ball came back and was almost caught by 3 Lancer players.
And you can see the American flag blowing directly against that right field fence, thus keeping that ball in play. Talk about pulling the string on that one, the breaking ball from Brader just getting in there.
Yeah, Brader's release on that changeup, she goes with a flip change, so she's actually going to show the back of her hand as she releases the ball to really take off some speed in that off-speed pitch.
A take from Larissa Koth, one of the few players who doesn't have a hit yet today, but her last at bat in the 4th, she hit one as far as you could without getting on base. It was caught at the top of the fence in left by Hannah Campbell. This one's hit in a similar spot, deep left field, back to the wall. That's going to get down off the glove of Campbell, who was unable to come up with that ball that just hung up there forever, it seemed, but it did find the gap. Tough play for Campbell, and Koth makes her way to second.
And every spot in this North Polk lineup has made it on base today. Every single spot out of the 9.
They've really manufactured the runs. We saw it earlier in the game, the squeeze attempts, 2 of them back-to-back. We've seen the small ball, we've seen the long ball. It's a club that's shown some proficiency in creating runs in different ways. Koth is aboard. A 9-3 lead here for North Polk. And Brader in the circle will deliver now to Alex Mulkey. That one's a bunt foul there, back to the right of the batter's box, so it'll be an 0-1 count.
North Polk right now just looking to produce 2 runs, trying to get into run rule territory.
Mulkey has produced 2 of the 9 today. 21st and 22nd RBI of the season. This one hit hard up the middle and diving for it. Great effort from Osterberg. She can't knock it down. That'll score a run, and sliding into second is Mulkey, who continues her terrific day at the plate.
Another RBI off the bat of Alex Mulkey. That ball was just driven into center field. Quite the effort, though, by Osterberg at shortstop. Hit off her glove.
Well, that was full stretch, a complete full extension from Osterberg. She gave it everything she had to even get a wisp of her glove on that. Audrey Lucas looks to lay down a bunt there as she looked down the first base line. Instead, it's a strike against.
And North Polk going to do everything they can to get that runner on second, get Mulkey in to score.
No outs, so they've got a lot of different ways they could do that here. A few sacrifice options out there.
Nice pitch by Brader, going off speed to work ahead in the count on Lucas. As you mentioned, no outs here, so plenty of different options for getting that run in.
Lucas hits one hard and foul. That's in play, but too tight to the fence for Aubrey Toohey to gallop over after it. North Polk looking to close out and solidify the 4A bracket and stand as one of the final two teams left alive. This one's hit into the air. Doesn't make it to short, so it lands and almost like a approach shot.
Yeah.
It just spun.
Just cued right off the end of her bat.
That one came in and landed awkwardly. Tough play for Osterberg at short, and so now runners on the corners. And Maddie Cleaver could end it here with the winning run and the run rule standing at third base.
I think any shortstop would tell you they'd rather have a hard hit ball at them than something like that, just off the end of the bat, that weird spin. Impossible to read where it's going to hop. And for North Polk now, 16 hits on the day.
I was just going to note, with that hit from Lucas, every single player on the roster that started today has at least one hit.
Wow.
That one's going to second. The runner will come in. And so an RBI. That brings the Comets. And indeed, a little bit of a delayed pause there. The Comets weren't sure either, but it is indeed the case. 11-3 will be the final as the North Polk Comets have officially crossed into state championship territory. They will take on Pella tomorrow for the 4A state championship game, and they have earned it.
No doubt. Ava Husak in the circle pitched a near perfect game. She was mixing in the rise ball, the curve ball. She knew exactly what she had to do to get the job done, and it was her bat that led this North Polk office as well, with the home run, a double, and a single.
Allie Kappert, give us what you think we might see in this 4A final. What do you know about both teams, and how do you think they match up?
I tell you what, Pella right now is the Cinderella story, the true underdog coming into this game. North Polk needs to do what they did today, put up the hits, and they will get the job done. But Pella right now, I mean, they've been unstoppable in their first two games. Really fun to watch. I'm excited for the game tomorrow. I think it's going to be a great matchup.
Pella goes past Cedar Rapids, Xavier, and then ADM earlier today to make the final. For North Polk, they dispatched of Western Dubuque, and now they've just gone past North Scott. So it'll be tomorrow at 5 p.m. here at Channel Seeds Field, the 4A final. Pella and North Polk as the Comets are victors today in the semifinals. They go 11-3 past North Scott. Allie, a real pleasure. You and I will be back on the call for the upcoming 3A game. And to Sam Nord as well, her maiden voyage producing for the Girls Union Network powered by Mediacom. Terrific work today, Sam. Thank you, and thanks to all of our camera workers that made it possible today to view the game, and to all of you for jumping aboard at home. Final is 11-3. North Polk on to the championship game tomorrow against Pella. Until then, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Ben Gislason bidding you a fond farewell and good afternoon from Fort Dodge.